Neville Goddard once said, "If you would assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled more frequently, you would be master of your fate." It's one of those quotes that lands like a bell in a quiet room, because part of you hears it and thinks, yes, that's true, and another part of you immediately responds, okay, but how? You've probably heard the words manifestation. You've heard law of assumption. Maybe you've even tried affirmations, vision boards, and visualization, and yet you're still here, which tells me one thing. You don't just want inspiration, you want clarity. So today, let's do this the seeker way. No fluff, no blind belief, no spiritual performance. Just a real exploration of the question, is the law of assumption a genuine force that shapes reality? Or is it just wishful thinking dressed up in mystical language? Because if it's real, if it works even a little, then this changes everything. It means the life you're living might be less about what happens to you and more about what you keep agreeing is true inside you. So in this video, we're going to unravel who Neville Goddard was and why people still quote him, what the law of assumption actually means, why it's different from hoping or positive thinking, how to apply it in a way that's practical and testable, and what to do when doubt shows up, because it will. Let's begin at the source. Who was Neville Goddard? The Guide. Neville Goddard was born in Barbados in 1905. Some call him a mystic, others call him a teacher of consciousness, but either way, he became a major voice in the world of manifestation. Neville didn't teach manifestation like a motivational speaker, he taught it like a spiritual surgeon. His ideas were rooted in mystical interpretations of scripture, especially the idea that the kingdom of heaven isn't somewhere you go after death. It's a state of consciousness you enter now. And Neville's central message was simple, almost unsettling in its simplicity. Your inner world is the cause. Your outer world is the effect. So if you want to change the effect, you change the cause. And he believed the cause wasn't effort, hustle, or forcing outcomes. The cause was your assumption, what you repeatedly accept as real, which leads us to the backbone of his teachings. Neville's core principles, the map. Neville taught many ideas, but these are the ones that matter most for the law of assumption. 1. Imagination creates reality. To Neville, imagination wasn't fantasy, it was a creative power. He believed imagination is the place where reality begins, like a blueprint before a building exists. 2. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is the heart of it, not I want it, not I hope I get it, but this is already mine, what does that feel like? Because for Neville, feelings weren't just emotions, they were signals. 3. Live from the end. Instead of mentally living in the problem, you live in the outcome. You reside internally in the state where it's already done. 4. Inner conversations shape your life. Neville believed most people are constantly scripting their lives unconsciously. That voice in your head that says, "This never works for me, I'm always behind, I'm not chosen, people leave, money is hard." He'd say, that's a script, and life keeps acting it out. 5. Revision. This one is wild but powerful. Neville taught that you could revise the past, not by changing facts, but by changing meaning. You reimagine an event the way you wish it had gone until the emotional charge dissolves. And when the emotional charge changes, your future changes too. All of this leads into the central law we're exploring. What is the law of assumption? The core. At its root, the law of assumption says this: your assumptions, your beliefs, your inner identity, your emotional expectation shape what you experience. Or in simpler words, you don't get what you want, you get what you assume is true. And here's where seekers lean in, because this isn't just about attracting a car or a text message, It's about identity. It's about what reality you consistently agree to. Neville would say, assume the state of the person who already has what you want, and reality will reorganize around that state. Imagine planting a seed. Your desire is the seed. Your assumption is the soil. If the soil is full of doubt, fear, and it never works, the seed struggles. But if the soil is rich, certainty, expectation, trust, then the seed grows. Now some people hear this and immediately say, okay, so you're telling me to just pretend? Not exactly, that's why we have to separate it from wishful thinking. Law of assumption versus wishful thinking. The difference. Wishful thinking is passive, it's wanting without embodying. It's maybe someday. I hope. It would be nice if, like tossing a coin in a fountain and walking away. But the law of assumption is active. It's a deliberate shift in identity and expectation. It's the difference between waiting for your ship to come in and setting sail like the ocean already belongs to you. Wishful thinking says, I want change. Assumption says, I am change. Wishful thinking is hoping reality changes first, so you can feel safe. Assumption is feeling it now and letting reality catch up. And yes, this is the part that challenges people, because it asks you to stop using the outer world as proof. It asks you to create the inner reality first. So how do you actually do that? Let's make this practical. How to apply the law of assumption. 12 practices. You don't need to do all of these perfectly, but if you practice them consistently, you'll start noticing a shift, not just in results, but in you. 1. Clarify your desire. Vague desire creates vague results. Be specific. What exactly do you want? What would success look like in real life? What would change about your day? Write it down, journal it, map it. There's something about naming the desire that gives it shape. 2. Create present tense affirmations. Not I will, but I am. Instead of I will be successful, try I am successful and supported. Your subconscious responds to identity language. 3. Visualize the end scene. Close your eyes and imagine a short scene that implies it's already done. Not the process, the proof. Example, you're holding your offer letter, you're hugging someone in your new home, you're checking your bank app and feeling calm. 4. Use first-person perspective. This matters. Don't watch yourself like a movie. See through your own eyes. Hear what you'd hear. Feel what you'd feel. Make it real. 5. Feeling is the secret. Neville said this constantly for a reason. Feelings are the language of assumption. If you want financial freedom, don't just think about money. Feel the calm, the safety, the I can breathe. If you want love, don't just think about a person. Feel the warmth, the belonging, the ease. The feeling is the magnetic part. 6. Script your inner story. Your mind is telling a story all day. Make it intentional. Ask, what would I be saying to myself if this was already solved? Then start saying that. 7. Live from the end. This doesn't mean being delusional. It means letting your choices come from the version of you who already has it. How would they walk? What would they tolerate? What would they stop chasing? 8. Repetition and consistency. Assumption isn't a spark, it's a heartbeat. This is not about desperation, it's about persistence, a calm, repeated return to the state. 9. Upgrade self-talk. That inner voice can be your doorway or your cage. When it says, I'm not good enough, replace it with, I am becoming the kind of person who receives. Not fake hype, a new identity. 10. Detach from the how. This is huge. You don't need to know the exact path. Assumption is trusting the unseen bridge. Detachment isn't indifference, it's confidence. It's saying, I don't know how it'll happen, but it's mine. 11. Revision. If a memory still hurts, it's still shaping you. Go back imaginatively and rewrite it, not to lie, but to free your nervous system from the old meaning. 12. Gratitude as confirmation. Gratitude is powerful because it implies something already exists. When you feel grateful now, you're telling your subconscious, this is real, and that reinforces the assumption. What about doubt? The shadow on the path. If you try this, doubt will appear. That doesn't mean you're failing. That means you're human. Here's what matters. Doubt is not the opposite of faith. Doubt is a sign you're leaving an old identity, and old identities don't die quietly. So when doubt shows up, do this. 1. Name it. This is doubt. 2. Don't obey it. Doubt is a feeling, not a command. 3. Return to the end, even for 10 seconds. Neville emphasized persistence, not anxious obsession. Persistence is calm. It's the quiet refusal to return to the old story. Also, set realistic expectations. This isn't always instant. The outer world has momentum, but inner shifts create outer shifts, and often in ways you couldn't predict. Your job is not to force it. Your job is to stay in the state. So, is the law of assumption real? Here's the seeker answer. Don't believe it. Test it. Run a simple experiment for 7 days. Pick one desire. Build one end scene. Feel it for 2 minutes a day. Then watch how you show up and what starts showing up for you. Because the real transformation may not be that the universe gives you something. The real transformation may be that you stop living from lack and start living from authorship. And that changes everything. So take a breath. Look at your life honestly. What do you desire? And what would it feel like if it were already yours? Assume that feeling, return to it, live from it, and let reality catch up. If this video resonated with you, hit like, share it with another seeker, and subscribe. Awaken, ascend, become.